What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Dustin, Nielson, and Matt Cassian with you. The Edmonton Oilers stick with it and come away with a 3-1 win in Winnipeg to make it 4 in a row. People got to be fired up tonight, I would think. Stuck with it. Hellebuyck was absolutely tremendous, and they ended up getting an all-time softie for Darnell Nurse, and then just an absolute snipe on the power play from Leon Draisaitl. And then Ryan McLeod finds the back of the net with an empty netter, had an assist on the Darnell Nurse goal as well. Whip you through the scoring summary here. Of course, you can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. I am in for Tommy tonight. Tommy has his final night with Bozone Live, so he'll be back for post-game moving forward, but I'm happy to take you through it. I know the inbox is already just taking an absolute pounding here. People are obviously fired up. Nasty chat is going as well. And Hayden says, YouTube, Trev, get us the lotto numbers. Trev, did you call a McLeod goal on the pregame or what?
I said Nurse was going to score tonight. And
oh,
she did,
Nurse.
So, yeah.
Good call, buddy. Good call.
It's lucky. It's lucky.
When you have these premonitions, man, you got to text me so I can bet a Darnell Nurse goal.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
just have a weird gut feeling sometimes. Okay, I got you, bro.
Cassian's going to join us right away. The scoring summary for tonight's game, the Winnipeg Jets opened the scoring, and then the Edmonton Oilers just continue to stick with it. They just continue to stick with it basically the entire game, and eventually it ended up paying off. It was Cole Perfetti. I thought it was a nice play. Had a stick on the ice. Scheifele found it, tipped it home. Kyle Connor with an assist there. That one came at 18:27 of the first period. And then we would have to fast forward all the way to the 13:11 mark of the third. And after the Oilers had so many good chances, Darnell Nurse puts one on net through a screen. Hellebuyck just simply blows it, and it goes off his glove over him and in. Nurse's fourth of the year. Ryan McLeod with the assist. Matthias Janmark with the second assist, his first of the season. The official scoring summary for some reason right now has Hyman listed as the goal, but it would have been Leon Draisaitl on the power play. I don't know how the official scoring summary, the game summary at NHL.com has Hyman in there. But Leon Draisaitl from Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard, and then Ryan McLeod from Hyman and Cody Ceci to seal away a 3-1 victory. Your thoughts on this? We asked after the last game, 5-4 win over Vegas, are the Oilers back? Where do you come out, Nasty Chat, on this one? I see some of you saying the 6 o'clock lager has never tasted so good. I'm in on one of these myself tonight, and this stuff is absolutely delicious. Thank you to everybody. It's selling out in a bunch of locations. And you know what? The Edmonton Oilers have not lost since we did the watch party last Friday. So that's a positive as well. Let's bring in our game analyst, Matt Kassian, who joins us. Cass, the definition of stick with, keep going, and something good is eventually going to happen, and it paid off for the Oilers tonight.
Pays off huge, and I even remembered to close the closet door today.
Yeah, you did.
So we're back. Yeah, but hey, we've talked about it at length that this team can't win a game 2-1.
No, it's true.
And they just won a game 2-1. I mean, I know they get the empty net goal to seal it, but really it's a 2-1 hockey game with an empty netter. So, hey, great job with it. They were the better team for most of the night. Hellebuyck made some good saves, stood in there for the Winnipeg Jets, which can happen with Connor Hellebuyck and good goalies, and they just keep sticking with it. Finally, that late power play, we've seen that in games before where they're either trying to get back in them or trying to seal it away, where that power play just hasn't been able to get the job done. And Leon Draisaitl pulls the trigger, an area where he's struggled from this year. He only has like 3 or 4 goals, which is crazy to think that that's struggling for him, but 3 or 4 goals from that spot. Buries a huge power play goal. So, Dusty, I think I was telling Awanik before the game that I was at like 67, 68%. I think it was in that range. I'm probably closer to 75 to 80% now of saying they're back.
Stuart Skinner, as I look in the I look on the text line and see people going 962, 962, 962. Stuart Skinner stops all 18 shots he faces at even strength, beating on the one on the power play and a low deflection just past his foot and into the back of the net. But if you're gonna win these games, like you just said, they don't win 2-1 games. I think Jack on the broadcast said something about that as well. Your goalie needs to be pretty darn good tonight, and I thought he was pretty darn good tonight.
Yeah, he was pretty darn good tonight.
He wasn't tested as much as Hellebuck, but I mean,
well, no, but he still was like maybe not as much as Hellebuck, but that was because the Oilers were the better team. But Winnipeg could have scored more goals than they did.
Yeah, exactly.
And like with some good chances too. But Stuart Skinner, he stood in there, and he stood in there well. Yeah, you'd have to think another confidence building game for him in a huge way. That team couldn't find a way to score, and he just keeps them in it. Because really, even on that power play goal, there's not much he can do on that. Same thing. I mean,
that was a tough.
This year. Like, what is he supposed to do? He goes down to make a save. It gets deflected. He can't get to it. But big saves again. Stuart Skinner, big saves, big win.
This text is in from Nick from St. Albert. It says, "Hey Dusty, I know it's not a real shorty, but didn't you call McLeod's first goal being a shorthanded goal? There were more Jets on the ice, but I did say it was going to be a shorthanded goal. I meant when they were shorthanded from being on a power play, not shorthanded because the net was empty at the other end, but gets the assist on the Darnell Nurse goal, gets the empty netter. And you know what I think is most important about all of that is from a coach's perspective, you put him back out there late in the hockey game after what happened in the last game. And I know there wasn't a ton of time left and things would have had to have gone really well. But for McLeod, you get to go over the boards with 35 seconds left in a 1-goal hockey game after what happened at the end of that last game. And I think you have to feel pretty good. I think you have to feel pretty good about that, Cass.
And I think as a coach, you're putting him out there also hoping that he gets the empty netter, right? Like, here's a guy that's been snake bitten, that hasn't been able to score, that hasn't scored all season, well into last season. So give him an opportunity. I mean, I know empty net goals aren't the same. They don't always feel the same as a non-empty net goal. But
what when you haven't scored in 38 though?
Goal's a goal.
That's different, right?
It's different. I mean, you look at this the stat sheet and you see 1 in the goal column. And all of a sudden, mentally, you can just breathe a little bit easier. And you could see it in his face. You could see it in his face in the way his teammates, going up to him and slapping him on the back. Evander Kane there. Zach Hyman on the bench. They're excited for the guy. And I can only imagine as he has the Oil Stream postgame on his phone right now in the locker room watching it, because he always does. Definitely in the YouTube, and he's scrolling through the chat like he always does. He's like, wow, they don't hate me today, which is a good feeling. So yeah, hey, big moment, big support from Knoblauch for McLeod.
I love this from Tyler the engineer. He's texted me, the 6 o'clocker lager is so good, I bought a flat. I'm on to beer number 2 right now. So that's good. He's watching the game with it. Many people were watching the game tonight, drinking our 6 o'clocker lagers, which was great. I see K Gill in the nasty chat saying Skinner made 25 saves. The Jets did not deserve to be in any part of this game if it wasn't for their goalie and the officials. But are you saying that Skinner only made 25 saves and you're trying to take away the fact that he only allowed 1 goal tonight and it came on the power play and he had a bunch of really good saves in the game? Like, this is the whole McLeod thing from the other night. Like, you won, your goalie only allowed 1 goal. In his last 4 starts, he's got a shutout and a 1-goal game against and a 2-goal game against. I don't know how anybody could, and K Gill, clarify this for me if you don't mean it the way that you mean it. But I don't know how anybody comes in here tonight and is worried, like chirping Stuart Skinner. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, K Gill threw in the chat just to clarify. He said, "No, I'm saying he was amazing." So I think it was like a 20, like a good saves,
cheers,
which makes more sense. Yeah, there you go.
To you. That's,
thanks, K Gill.
Okay, when they came across, I was like, why are we pointing out he only made 25 saves? That was guy. Penner's Pancake says refs not consistent again. Kane's cross check happened 5 more times in that game. That is frustrating. Cass, what do you think of the officials tonight?
I mean,
that was your typical NHL officiated game, wasn't it?
Same thing we think every night. Yeah. Same thing we think every night, Dusty. Same thing we think every night. I mean, it's you don't know what you're going to get night to night. You really don't. It's a roll of the dice for sure.
Like, they had played a really good game. So how much, like if they lose this game 1-0 tonight, there's still not a lot of bad things to say about the way the others played tonight. You know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't think the narrative would have changed that much. You know what? It would have been like, oh, you got to get more traffic in front of Hellebuck and you score some goals those ways, you know, that type of thing. But I thought they played a really good hockey game regardless of the outcome. And it was nice to see them actually be rewarded with the way some of the things that happened earlier in the season.
Yep. No, absolutely. I mean, I've said multiple times earlier in the year, like there were no moral victories when they were losing like crazy. No moral victories because they just needed to find ways to win. This one, if they would have lost 1-0, I would have said, you know what? Winnipeg is a good team and you outplayed them and you came up against a good goal and he beats you. And if you only gave up 1 and you lost 1-0, you probably played a pretty good game and there's not a lot to be upset about rather than aside from losing the 2 points. But they find just the juice to stick with it. And it takes a little bit of and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong on this or you saw something different. I'm pretty sure that Darnell Nurse shot was deflected. And I think that's why it changed direction. I think it was going, I think it was going to the left and I think it grazed, I think it was DeMello.
I think it was DeMello, the defenseman.
Yeah. I think it grazed his.
You thought it was deflected, eh?
I thought it went off his shin pad. I thought it was going to blocker side.
Yeah.
And it went off his shin pad, didn't lose a lot of steam, and then kind of turned into a little bit of a knuckleball back to the right. And that's where he just wasn't able, like he didn't track it well.
I'm going to have to go back and look at that again.
I'm pretty sure.
Because they showed the side angle shot, and I was looking for if there was a dip coming through DeMello. I didn't necessarily see a dip coming through DeMello, but you're thinking it might have changed.
I thought it changed direction. Yeah. I thought it changed direction.
Because I don't know how else Hellebuck doesn't stop that, really. I mean,
yeah, well, I thought it changed direction. And Jason, the pharmacist, no, this is not a house coat. It's a cardigan.
Are you sure?
Thanks for noticing.
It looks like a pretty nice house coat, actually. Like, yeah. Killer boots,
hey,
Cass.
If this was a full house coat, you know what? That'd be okay. It'd be a comfy house coat.
That's the luxury of being able to do the post game in your own house. I'm not even wearing pants right now, so that's a good one. This text is in. It says Connor Brown was around it tonight. He's been trending in the right direction the last couple of games. P.S. When is the logger going to make its way to Sask? Unfortunately, the logger will not be making its way to Sask. Although I did have a guy today on Twitter who said he texted in earlier and said he drove from BC to Canmore to grab some. And I like that commitment. I like that commitment. Connor Brown, he mentioned he's been around it a little bit, Cass. I do think his, like, since coming back, it looks like his game's starting to ramp up a little bit, doesn't it?
I think the last couple, tonight was really the first night where I noticed him in and around it. Like where I thought to myself, he could score tonight. Like he seemed like he was, I don't want to just say more engaged. I think he's always tried. Like it's not like there hasn't been a lack of effort from Connor Brown. There's just been a lack of success from Connor Brown. But tonight it looked like he was in it a little bit more. So it could take an empty net goal. It could take something here to get him off the schneid, but it seems to be trending in the right direction. And a couple comments in the nasty chat about the closet door. Yes, it is closed. A couple comments about how I look like the type of guy who would wear a house coat. Well, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable in my own skin. So yeah, I probably would. Got to be comfy.
Do you think Draisaitl's goal went off the defenseman's stick? It looked like it.
I would have.
It looked like it.
Now, like you, I'd have to watch that.
Yeah,
I'd have to watch that one again. I was just too excited.
Not a lot, but possibly. I mean, it was a rocket anyway. But yeah, just kind of snuck through on there. But I mean, it was just kind of perfect way for them to win that hockey game. You know, kind of grind it back, get the power play. I thought McDavid was super sneaky drawing that penalty because he kind of had himself tied up there and sort of. I thought it was maybe I think McDavid's too brilliant, but I was almost just like, man, McDavid kind of got himself jammed up there and sort of just pulled away and dropped his stick and drew that. I thought it was brilliant. If he meant to do it, brilliant. If not, it was a legitimate penalty anyway. But I was just like, man, because he was engaged too and kind of hooked in there and then was like, oh, and brilliant. Like,
yep.
I don't know.
But that's good. Good players do that. You see it happen. And sometimes it almost looks like embellishment. And you see it sometimes when guys get sticks up into guys' hands where they know they feel where players are or what if they're grabbing onto them and they move away or turn away to try to draw a penalty. Because you're like, well, this is a penalty if I do this. and your first reaction is then to do something to try to draw it. And yeah, I don't doubt that McDavid knew he was or trying to draw it in that moment, and it should have been a penalty even if he doesn't. But you do what you need to do to try to make it obvious without not diving, not faking.
And it's not like he threw his hands up or anything, but he was just
he worked through it. You try to work through it to draw a penalty.
Yeah, the Digital Warrior says for sure he meant to do it. This one is actually from a Winnipeg Jets fan who's in. It says that McJesus penalty draw was sketchy. Sold it totally. That's the thing. He never, you never even thought for a minute he sold it, and he didn't. But you look back at the replay, and I was like, man, this guy knows exactly what he's doing.
He totally sold it. Yeah,
and with the way that the officiating had gone, you kind of thought that the Oilers were going to get a power play because they were pushing hard all night long. And McDavid, he's got that elite level read on that stuff and did an excellent job at it. Cass, the faceoffs tonight were 71% in favor of the Oilers, 29% for the Winnipeg Jets. Those stats kept popping up on faceoff percentage, and I was like, come on, like this is ridiculous. In the circle tonight, Draisaitl 75%, Fogle took one, he was 100%, Hamlin was 83%, McLeod was 53.8%, Gagne took one, he was 100%, Nuge was 50%, and Connor McDavid was 88.9% in the faceoff circle tonight. And I know a lot can change after a faceoff, but when you win that many draws, man, it's going to lead to a lot of opportunities, which I think legitimately, I think their faceoff percentage tonight factored into how well they control the puck.
Well, it speaks a little bit into that, and it speaks to preparedness and intensity because, even on some of them that were I
think Cass cut out there, Dusty.
Did we lose him? We lost him. I was giving him time to hop back in here. He froze. Cass will reconnect. I'll get to some of your comments in the nasty chat. Kim, it says, Dusty, first star, post-game morning show hero. Yeah, this is an early post-game. I don't need too much credit for this one. And I came home and slept for about an hour around 4 o'clock. So I'm buzzing. I'll be all right. Let's see here. Let's get to a few more of these. Cass looks like he's ready to have a red wine and cuddle up on the couch with a Danielle Steele book. Oh, that makes it worth it being here. That's actually a pretty good one. Looks like he's reconnected. We'll have YouTube Trev bring him back in when he's ready. And I know many of you are asking about a break at this time. We'll get into that. Cass, did you hear that last text?
I heard the tail end of it, but I saw it in the I saw it.
It's too good, man. Yeah. That's my highlight of the night right there.
Yeah, but Patty, I gotta say, I'm more of a Sarah J. Maas type of guy for those type of books.
Don't even know what that is. I know my mom used to read Danielle Steele.
So Sarah J. Maas, I've never read any one of those books in my life. Sarah J. Maas is like I'll go look because I love like Lord of the Rings style books. Like that's what I like reading before bed. Like just something that's not like just completely science fiction or fantasy books. But there's been like a huge influx of romance fantasy books, like Danielle Steele type books, except like with wizards and elves and stuff. And it's like they absolutely crush all the top seller lists right now, and it's pretty annoying. But I think Sarah J. Maas is one of them, and I just know that from seeing her books up there like 50 million times and being like, this is annoying. I don't want to read these books. But
Dirty Curdy's in on the text line 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. The best sign late was Skinner making that timely big save after Bouchard's gaff and the shift after the go-ahead goal and an outstanding shift of keep away. The much maligned Nurse and McLeod playing the heroes. Huge. That's in from Dirty Curdy. So Cats, they've won the 4 games now, and it's interesting how they won them. 5-0 against Washington. A tidy victory for sure. 8-2 against Anaheim. Ducks suck, but the Oilers crushed them. That's what you should do against bad teams. And then against Vegas, top team in the division, let it slip away, get it in the shootout. And then tonight against the Winnipeg team. Now they lost 2 in a row, but Winnipeg, you saw it tonight. Winnipeg's a pretty good hockey team. Like Winnipeg is a legitimate hockey team. They've got one of the best goaltenders in the National Hockey League. And in that fashion, like they basically won these 4 games in 4 completely different ways. 5-0 shutout, very comfortable. 8-0 2 blowout. Almost let one slip away. Get it done against Vegas. 5-4, win a tight one. And then tonight, down 1-0 for the majority of the game and score 3 goals. So which one of these victories to you, this is a fun question. If you're watching right now, you can slide in on the nasty chat. Which one of these victories to you was the most impressive?
This one.
Yeah.
This one by far and away. And the reason I say this one by far and away, Winnipeg is a good team. They had to fight through it late in the game. They had to fight through it late in the game when they were the better team, and they found a way to win. Like, and to me, so they played a full 60 minutes, not a lot of mistakes. Goalie makes some saves. Your goalie makes some saves, and you found a way to push through. And for me, doing that against a good team, so you control the game really for 60 minutes against a good team in terms of pace, opportunity, face-offs. I didn't look at the possession numbers yet, but I don't doubt that they were well ahead on possession numbers in the offensive zone. Certainly had a grade A chances in the offensive zone, and they found a way to win. To me, Dusty, this was it. That's why I'm inching closer and closer to the bandwagon here.
Yeah. Not there yet, hey? Not there yet.
I think my hand's reaching.
That's
like I'm reaching. It's kind of like
you're about to step up.
It's like the 6 o'clock loggers that are still left in my fridge.
Yeah.
It's like I'm reaching for them. I have like a tremendous amount of desire. I have an attitude that is full of hope and anticipation, and it's like I'm on my way there. And they could crush it. Of course they could. The Oilers, that is, because the 6 o'clock logger won't let you down. But I'm almost there.
Andy Pandy in the text line. Best performance of the season. Everyone chipped in positively. Team stuck with it. Power play came up trumps again, and the PK bent but didn't break. All 4 lines were excellent. This was the 22-23 Edmonton Oilers. This one's in. It says, how good were McDavid's quick pivots tonight? How many Jets blue tires trying to man cover McDavid? McDavid is back. I was watching the game with Marshall. He watched the first and second before he went to bed. And that one time in the corner where McDavid had it, and a quick tight turn, and then cut around the defender, drove right to the front of the net. Like so many times in the offensive zone tonight. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's another player in the league, and it's probably not exaggeration because he's Connor McDavid. But I don't know if there's anybody else in the offensive zone that can dance like that in tight quarters, No,
not use edges like that. I mean, there's a reason like every single, power skating coach in Canada uses McDavid for all their clips because he uses his edges better than anybody else alive. But that's when he does that stuff, Dusty, that's when he's feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
And when he doesn't, like 3 weeks ago, that's when he's not. But his ability to change direction and to use his edges like that is just, it's ridiculous. Like, my wife still knows nothing about hockey.
How does your wife know nothing about hockey?
Like she played in the National Hockey League.
Like, okay.
I am still trying to convince my wife. I am still trying to convince my wife that I'm decent at hockey. Like it's like she doesn't believe me. She's like, yeah, okay, whatever. Whatever. You think you were good, but whatever. Still trying to convince her. She's from Texas. She's football, baseball. But all the time, like if she'll watch it with me. Like she doesn't mind watching it. She likes watching it. She'll watch it with me. And so all the time I'm like, if I'm watching at home on TV, like Connor will do stuff like that and I like pause it and I like back it up. I'm like, just watch this. Watch what he does with this. And she's just like, okay, like what am I looking at? And I just try to describe the technically sound crazy things that he does with his feet. And she's like, okay, I don't get why that's a big deal. I'm like, because no one else can do that. And that's what it's like. I mean, that's one of the reasons it's so hard to contain him is his lateral movement and his ability to use edges, and being able to spin like that in the offensive zone. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I thought he was going to score on the one when he walked right in, but I don't think he knew that he had as much space as he did.
Yeah, that one there when he kind of flipped the backhander up. That one.
Yeah.
No, that was there for the taking as well. The Edmonton Oilers, after the win tonight, now 9-12-1. They have a .432 winning percentage. They've won 4 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they are 3 points out of a wild card spot right now. Calgary, Seattle, Nashville, still between them and a wild card spot, and then Arizona currently holding down the second wild card spot with 22 points. So they've got themselves back up into the thick of a wild card, I would think, here, being just 3 points back of Arizona, Nashville, and Seattle, who all have 22 points. Calgary has 21 points. So they've made quick work here to get back into the mix to make things interesting from a wild card perspective, and we'll see where they're at come Christmas time. Cass, let's get to this question that a lot of people have been asking the entire time. They don't play again until Wednesday. And I see people kind of debating, good thing or bad thing, this 5-day break right now. And they'll obviously mix in some good practices and stuff. But, I mean, when you're rolling like this, I think you'd rather keep playing. But
Yeah.
I don't know, like, is it a major buzzkill, or is it just kind of unfortunate that they have time away right now?
We'll have to see, won't we? Talk to me after when they start playing again. We before Tommy, left to go do whatever he's doing, trying to go catch deers, and do whatever
Buck
they
down.
do.
Buck down. I think they have buck
Right.
down today. So
Okay, so they caught a deer.
yeah. I like to see
we
them start
talked.
trapping deer. It's like fishing. You catch and release.
caught and release. I caught a deer, then I let it go. We talked about if because this was still an if at that point, like if they go on a little run here,
Yeah.
and put a couple games together, that there's a real fear or chance that it could be a buzzkill, and I still it could be. I mean,
Yeah.
like, to me, like a 3-day break would be perfect. You get a day off, get 2 practices in, play on day 4. But you have a full 5 here, and it's just like, it just feels like a long time. And it's good. Your body needs breaks. Mentally, you need a break. You need to be able to recover. Guys that are bumped up, nicked up, you need some time, and that's helpful to have that time. But it just feels like it's at the absolute worst timing for them from a season standpoint, because it's like they're rolling now, they're feeling now, and hopefully, I mean, on the positive side, Dusty, they're not going into this break, like losing 3 or 4 in a row and just sitting in, wallowing in self-pity and self-loathing into the break, which would have been even worse. Like, I'm much rather have them playing really well heading into it. But yeah, it could kill a little bit of the momentum, potentially. So certainly something to, I don't want to say be terrified of, but certainly something where it's just like, we'll have to see how they handle this.
You're right. There could be, well, I mean, they're going in on a 4-game winning streak. This is the best possible way to go into the break, right? If you lose to the Jets, it's 3-1 while you're going in off a loss. They've won 4 in a row. It's way better than going into a break 2-2. It's just a matter of if they can come out after it. So people chiming in here. Taylor says Carolina will have their legs moving 2 days before, and Edmonton will end up looking lost again. Mike says kind of what we were saying. Who cares? Better to go into this break 4-0 than 3-1, especially where the loss is the last one before a break, which
That's
I
true.
totally agree with as well. It's interesting to see. Well, Kimmett says, not loving the break right now unless there are some lingering injuries out there, which could certainly help some guys sort of heal up a little bit. What do you like from a coaching staff? How do you handle this from a practice perspective? And I mean, if you're Knoblauch and there are some things you want to implement a little bit, real juicy time to do it here, considering you won 4 in a row and you're going to have the attention of everybody, right?
But what big things are you going to implement? I mean, you can
I don't
work
know.
on small
I'm
things.
not sure.
I mean, if I'm Knoblauch, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm walking into that dressing room after the game tonight with a cooler full of ice and 6 o'clocker lagers.
Yes.
And saying, here you go. That's the first thing I'm doing. The second thing I'm doing is not changing too much. Like, they just, because they never had to. Like, there wasn't ever, with him coming in here, and going to be any huge implementations coming in. Now, do they have an opportunity for some of the things he's been talking about to work on them a little bit more? Of course. And that'll be great. That'll be helpful if they're working through things in the defensive zone. To continue to work on the penalty kill, I think, is going to be really important. And so there's things that you can do that you're going to have a little bit more time to work on. But really, the main focus is just going to be on being sharp. Like, you just want to be crisp. Like, when you get back, because they're probably going to have a day off, when you get back into it, you want execution in practice to be top of the line. Like
you
yes, you want to be
you're not
loose.
looking for a bad practice somewhere along the way because you
Right.
have two of them, right?
That is going to be the focus more than implementing anything and changing anything. It's going to be on how do I keep these players sharp and keep that momentum going. And just as a note, Mike Smith, I know it's not catching deers. I know that's not what you do.
But I do think the deer community would be down for the catch and release. Like they catch you, the deer poses for a picture, you can hold its head, and then you just kind of let it go, right? It's like taking a picture with a fish. You kind of let it go and let it run.
Well, you know, one of my best buddies is a co-founder of a company that's actually called Catching Deers. So that's why I say that too, because I know if he's listening, he's probably not, because I actually think he's out catching deers right now too for a different TV show.
That's the season, right?
Yeah, so yeah, I always say that in front of him because it bugs him. So I know
Trev's gonna be working on grabbing some post game for us, so we'll get to that. This is an interesting thought. Taylor says, would he overcoach them? I hope Knob doesn't do that too much and keep them working. Cass, did you view Woodcroft as? I mean, the line combinations you saw tonight, though. I thought Knoblauch did a good job getting McDavid and Draisaitl together in certain spots when the matchups were favorable. But did you ever view Woodcroft as an over coacher?
I don't
remember having that conversation much when he was around. You
know? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. And I don't know if I've heard that before that he was an overcoacher. Now, did he try to maybe adjust things and change things too quickly when they were struggling from a line standpoint and from a whatever? Maybe, but I don't know. Like overcoaching. So typically when teams overcoach, generally when coaches overcoach, that's usually when they're trying to control too much of what players do offensively, like where you have so much structure and control in the game. And so I think like a Kevin Constantine, where you just suck the offense out of it completely. Like that's overcoaching to me. You know, working on defensive structures and trying to implement those in the defensive zone, it's pretty hard to overcoach that. And I think I'd actually had a conversation with Sean Bell and I, who both played for Kevin Constantine. And this was, you know, the penalty kill has been much better the last number of games, but this was when the penalty kill was really getting lit up. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, they need like a Kevin Constantine penalty kill system where it is like, so with KC, you would get called out in video sessions that were like 2 hours long. So everyone got called out at some point for like 80 different things every single day. But you would get called out on the penalty kill for being 6 inches out of position with your feet. So it would quite literally be your foot is here. It needs to be 6 inches this way, and your other foot 6 inches over as well. Like stuff like that, where that to me can get to overcoaching. I don't think that was Jay Woodcroft's issue. I still actually don't think it was a Jay Woodcroft issue. I still think it was a team execution mentality and confidence issue. I don't think it was a Woodcroft issue. So I don't think overcoaching was the problem there.
I want to give a quick shout out to the guys watching at Century Casino. Looks like a few of the boys have the iPad up at Century Casino watching Thursday Night Football with Lieutenant Eric, but also streaming the post-game show. So shout out to you guys. Appreciate that. The football game actually looks like an absolute wild one tonight. 35-30 with 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Dallas is knocking on the door to retake the lead. So I got that PVR, and I'll probably check that out a little bit after this game. Cass, you're like these ones. D. White says, can we now admit that Ceci is a steal at $3.25 million? And Duck Dad says Ceci is worth every penny. Quickly on Ceci tonight, his final numbers: had an assist, was +2, and played over 24 minutes tonight, as they did run heavy again on that top four.
He has been steady and consistent. People picked him last year at times to jump on, and we need to trade him this and trade him that. And I was just like, you're not getting anyone else. Like, how are you going to get better by trading this guy without bringing way more money in? He is steady, consistent. He's not that flashy, but he just goes and plays. And I think part of it too, I will say, with how Ceci has looked, is when Ceci really looks like he's struggling, typically it's when Darnell Nurse is struggling. And when Darnell Nurse is struggling, he's really unpredictable on the ice. And when you have a defense partner that's playing really unpredictable, it's really, really hard to play, because you're trying to anticipate things that you shouldn't have to try to anticipate, and you're trying to have to cover for things, and you're trying to take multiple assignments, and it's very, very difficult to play. So yeah, I'm not surprised. For his price tag, Ceci is very, very, very good for a defenseman for what you're paying in terms of
just over $3 million. Yeah, for just over
He's
$3 million bucks, right? Like,
I don't want to say it's like, oh, he's an absolute steal, absolute steal, but it's like, no, he is a very efficient, very good use of that cap space. And I mean, I haven't heard it yet this year that he should be traded. Last year we heard it all the time, which I thought was foolish. And look, he's playing consistent again.
Sam Gagne stays in the lineup. We talked about this on Two Guys and a Goalie today, actually. What are they going to do? Is it going to be Sam Gagne or Adam Ernie? You were very much in the pros. Like, we all love Sam Gagne. We want to see him play. I just thought they might leave Ernie in there because he's a little bit more physical. But not only did they leave Gagne in, they put him on the line with McLeod and Fogel, and then had Janmark with Derek Ryan tonight and Hamblin, and they didn't play that much. But what did you think of that decision? And what do you think overall of the bottom six tonight?
I mean, I love me some Sam Gagne. I just always love what he brings to the table, and love what he brings to the room, and love what he brings to the bench. So I like the decision to keep him in. He would be my preferred pick to stay in over Adam Ernie. Not that Ernie doesn't do some okay things and he plays physical and runs around, but it's just like I really like what Sam Gagne brings, and I liked it again tonight. Bottom six, they were good tonight. They were good. They didn't get scored on, Dusty. They didn't get scored on. And they didn't score, but they didn't get scored on against a good Winnipeg team on the road. Yeah, they didn't play a ton of minutes, but I think that's what you want from them. That's what you want from them. If they can be plus teams and even in tight games, that's what you want, and that's what you got. So, yeah, I like their game tonight.
You can text us anytime, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Mike is asking, do you guys credit or attribute Nurse's recently improved quality of play to Coffey's presence / coaching? Nurse has been quite solid lately. Like, wow. Cass, I think the answer is some of it for sure, whether it's the change or however they're approaching Darnell Nurse. So maybe there's, I don't know. Do you see a difference in his game that would be impacted by a coach, or do you see a difference in Darnell Nurse's game basically just due to the player?
Well, I think the biggest credit has to go to Darnell Nurse. Like, I mean, he ultimately is the one that's out there and that's playing well and executing. Now, could the conversations that they have about expectations and what they want from him and what they need from him, could that have impacted it?
Okay, yeah, that's
very well.
interesting.
It very well could have. It very well could have, because he looks locked in. But maybe it was the puck to the nose.
Maybe that was kind of the wake-up call. A tough look. A tough look.
Tough look. He's like, oh, I better play well now. Don't want to. It was embarrassing getting hit in the face in warm-ups with the puck, so I got to pull this thing together, and he does.
It is funny because he's been lights out since that moment.
Since then, yeah, since that moment, he's been absolutely fantastic.
I don't know what that could actually mean, but this text is in. It says, 7 days ago, I was deleting my Sportsnet account and giving up on this team. Amazing what a week can do. Let the guys get their rest after a hard-fought win and bring on the Hurricanes. Still glaring problems, but the heart is there. So that guy's gonna. Good news for Sportsnet. Good news for Sportsnet, that they're going to keep a customer there. The Oilers have cut down tremendously on giving up odd man rushes compared to the beginning of the season. That one in from a dirty name on the text line, but that's a really good point, Cass. I'm pretty sure you and Tommy would have spent the first 5 weeks of the season talking about how many odd man rush goals they were giving up.
Every single night.
Yeah.
It was every single night, Dusty. It was every single night there was a rush goal against. Over and over and over. And there was just too many odd man rushes. Like, you just gave up way too many. And then you gave up bad plays on the odd man rushes. And those have largely gone away. The last number of games, those have largely gone away. And that's, again, that's players like Darnell Nurse being better. That's forwards not making bad decisions at the blue lines, which they've been way better at. That's forwards having better support back. That's better communication on the way back. So they're executing much better in the critical areas of the ice, which are just really, really helping with those odd man rushes.
Here's a question that's directed towards you, Cass, comes in from Big Dave. Hey, I wanted to ask Cass something. it wasn't a Woodcroft issue, but could it have been a Manson issue? Given the defensive turnaround under Coffey and Knoblauch, it seems like there might have been something to do with coaching on the defensive side. What do you think about that?
Potential.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it
right?
not necessarily from a system standpoint, but in what you're communicating to the players, your expectations are. When you're in video sessions, what are you highlighting? What are you showing? What are you saying? We like this, we don't like this. How are you trying to instill confidence, or what are you trying to get them to clean up in their game? And I guess you're trying to get them to clean up the same things. Or in Darnell Nurse's case, is like you're trying to get them to clean. Like everyone knows what you're trying to get them to clean up. But if you're communicating it in a way that the player actually is receiving it, hey, that could be the difference. So could it have been? It's possible. It is very possible. It's impossible for us to know without actually being a fly on the wall in those meetings and hearing what they're saying. But could there be some truth in that? There certainly could be. There certainly could be.
One more text message that comes in, and we do have Nurse, Skinner, and McLeod. We're going to hear from you two. Trev's got him post game, so guys, we'll let you slide on that one. I'll whip her home with this, but I want this is interesting. Hey, Dusty and Cass, I hope they don't move on from McLeod. He's been solid defensively the last 2 playoffs. He reminds me of Cogliano, who had to discover that what player he is, from a scorer to a checker. McLeod is at that crossroad. He has the speed to prevent chances. He doesn't need to be physical, just get in the way. Same thing with Foegele. He needs someone to whisper in his ear to focus on checking because he still thinks he's a scorer. If he embraces that defensive/checking forward, he would be a much better player. McLeod and Foegele will give opposition fits because of their speed on the defensive end. Cass, let's wrap up your portion of the post game with just thoughts on that element. And I think overall, I'm curious your thoughts of a comparison between Cogliano and McLeod, because is it just because they skate fast? Because McLeod was like barely a point per game guy in junior.
Yeah.
Right. So
Cogliano was a little more offensive.
Yeah, I think he was more offensive than McLeod, but
he did still have to figure that side of his game out.
Yeah, I think he was grittier than McLeod, but I can see the comparison. But how much do you buy into it?
Yeah, I mean it's almost more like a Bugstad type. Like that's kind of, I think, would almost be more apt. Like big body, skates pretty well, moves well for someone that size. Not overly physical, but if he can learn to play that, I can't remember who the texter was who sent that in, but I agree with you. If Ryan McLeod can figure out that he can use his size, and he can, again, he's not, and I don't ever expect him to be someone that's out there just running guys over, cross-checking people in the face, getting in fight. Like that's not going to be Ryan McLeod. But if he can figure out, you know what, I can play this third line role and a good checking role and be really, really responsible and have a lot of success, he could be incredibly valuable. Now, what we haven't seen is to play that position. I mean, you got to be a little bit gritty in the corners. You got to be able to clean up the front of the net at times. And you have to be willing to engage. And can he learn that and get there and adapt? Of course he can. Of course he can. But he's got to be willing to do that. He's got to be willing to do it. And I'm not saying that he's not at this point. He's still a young player. For again, all the venom yesterday that was just like, trade him right now, put him through waivers now. It's like, no, that would be a waste. The challenging part, I think, Dusty, is how long do you have to wait to see if he can get that and figure that out. That's the challenge. It's not that I wouldn't, if this was a team in a different position than wanting to be pushing for Stanley Cups, I would say, yeah, we want to be patient with this guy. And I wouldn't want to move on from him. Wouldn't want to trade him. I wouldn't really. You spent years developing him already. Why would you want to move on from him? I think though, still, like you'd have to look situationally at what the team needs. And as the season progresses, if he can't or doesn't continue to fit into that third line center role and give you what you need, then you have to be open to conversations about moving him. Not because it's the first thing you want to do and you think he's so bad that you need to trade him. He's just so bad. We need to trade him. He's so bad, because he's not. But if he's not quite the fit that you need, I don't know if you have the time to wait another season or two to see if that's what
that's
he can
come around.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Cass, good stuff, man. Thanks for sliding on in here. And tell your wife that everything looked great tonight, and nobody needs to be concerned. Yeah,
I will.
Enjoy your glass of red and your Daniel Steele.
Yeah. Sarah J. Moss, Dusty.
Sorry.
Usually she's commenting on my clothing. She's like, "You wore that? You wore that? Why are you wearing that? Why would you do that?" That's usually what I get.
My wife gave up commenting on my clothing years ago, dude. So yeah, just stick with it. She won't worry at one point. All right, there you go. That's Matt Kassian, our game analyst. We'll see you later, buddy. There you go. That's Cass. Does a great job with us. All right, we've got some post game. Let's go. Let's go. Ryan McLeod found the empty net tonight. Did Jack give us an off the schneid? I thought there'd be a big time off the schneid there, but I don't know if I missed it or not. Somebody will let us know. Here's Ryan McLeod after the game.
To get one, it doesn't matter what type of goal it is, just you get that one.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it's obviously a little bit frustrating start, but good to get that one out of the way, and hopefully more to come.
How much did you guys feel the momentum shift once Darnell did score that goal so late in the game?
Yeah, I think I thought we were playing good, most of the game. For the first 40, we had some chances, just didn't go our way. Obviously they have a great goalie in that, so we knew it was going to take a lot. But I think once we got that goal, we kind of got a little bit more confidence, and it worked out for us.
Earlier in the year, this team was identifying that an issue that you guys had was the ability to lock it down. Tonight, you lock it down. What can you say about the progression that's been made there?
Yeah, I think just sticking to it. I think as a group, we've been trying to play a lot harder and a lot more defensively and take care of each other. I think we did that tonight. I think we did it really well. I think we know we have the guys in the room who could break the game open for us. So we just wanted to hold them to one, and luckily we got it done tonight.
Can you recall a time where you saw multiple holding the stick penalties in the game? 3 today?
No idea. To be honest, I don't really have an answer for that one.
Yeah, of course he's not going to have an answer for that one. It's ridiculous. Have you ever seen 3 holding the stick penalties in a game before? Okay. That was weird. All right, let's get to Darnell Nurse, who ends up getting a huge goal. Hellebuck is not going to be able to sleep tonight. He 100% should have stopped that thing. But Darnell Nurse and the Edmonton Oilers were taken. It was kind of the start of the payoff for them tonight. Here's Darnell Nurse after the game.
I mean, your shot, you're hoping that might be the result, considering how many chances the team had.
I mean, we had lots of chances. I was just trying to shoot through a screen, and you never know what happens. I've been the D-man on the other side of those, and sometimes you stiffen up and whatnot. So just try to surprise them, get one on net, and get it through the D-man.
What did you think of maybe a combination of perseverance and patience to get you guys to that point and eventually to the win?
Yeah, I think the composure of the team was on full display there. I think, for us to be down one there in the first and not open our game up and push for too much offense, and at the same time, knowing the chances were there, we did try to convert. So it was a good sign of where our group's going, and I think we built a lot of confidence off this game.
How much did you feel the momentum shift once you did score, and then following the way that the rest of the 7 minutes opened up that way?
Yeah, no, I think obviously we had a lot of great ozone time and a lot of good chances. So when the first one goes in, I think for the group, it takes a little bit of the load off the shoulders, and our power play went out there and did their thing. So that's why they're so special. They scored those times, and for us it was a great one.
Do you think that was a chippier game than you were expecting?
No, every time we play Winnipeg, it seems to be pretty hard out there. It's a team that checks really well. It's got a lot of big bodies, and there's always an element of that physicality, I feel like, every time we play against each other.
There you go. That is Darnell Nurse, and he's right, man. Jets-Oilers games are great. I absolutely love them. Even tonight's game. I mean, it was a 1-0 game for a good stretch, but I was still really enjoying this hockey game tonight. Am I all alone on that? I think it was pretty good. I like that a lot, actually. I got it. My Lock Shop group chat is just melting down on the football game right now. We need one more completion from Geno Smith to hit our Lock Shop partner parlay. And somebody keep me up to date in the nasty chat on what's going on over there as well. Look, I'll say it. I thought Stuart Skinner was absolutely excellent tonight. I know there's some people Skinner was great. You can't blame him on the goal, and he didn't let in anything else. He was absolutely tremendous tonight. Here's Stuart Skinner after the game.
Of your team, of course, Winnipeg opens the scoring, but they managed to lock it down and keep it that Matt won.
Yeah, if there's the right way to win, that's what it looks like. I thought the guys stuck with it all night. I thought we did just a great job in both ends overall.
For yourself, did it feel like a little bit of a goalie competition through those periods?
Yeah, I feel like it's always like that, especially with Helly. Obviously, an incredible goaltender to go against. And he played a heck of a game. If it wasn't for him in the first period, it could have got out of hand there. So, huge credit to them. Huge credit to their players as well. They played a great game. They're very good at locking it down too, and that's why it was a low-scoring one.
Earlier in the year, some of the issues that you guys identified was your ability to lock it down and really keep it there. Do you find that that's something that you guys have been able to improve on? You really showed it this game.
Yeah, I think especially in this game, we did a really good job at that. Obviously, there's some tweaks that has to be made. As always, every win, every loss, there's things to improve on. So it's just a matter of us sticking with it, which I know the guys will.
Did you feel it was just going to be a matter of time until one of those shots made it through?
Yeah, you're hoping for that every time, every game, especially the way we were playing tonight. I think offensively we did a great job at getting pucks in. Again, Helly made some incredible saves. So, and they're obviously they know how to play really good D too. So, you're just really hoping that at some point it's going to happen for us, and fortunately it did.
Yes, it did, and they played extremely well tonight. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers. It's funny if I had to rank their wins, these last four, I would go. It's tough. Tonight's was the best one, I thought. I'd probably go this one. 5-0 over Washington is 5-0. So this one, Washington. I'm trying to think what's better, letting 2 goals slip away but still beat Vegas, even though they gave up 4, or like a blowout of the shitty Ducks. Vegas is Vegas. So let's go. Anaheim, they play Anaheim again. They're going to score 7 or 8 on it again. So let's go win over Winnipeg, win over Washington, win over Vegas, win over Anaheim. K-Gill says Jets, Washington, Ducks, Vegas. I could see that. I was a little bit torn on that. I just think Vegas is Vegas. Beating Vegas is Vegas. Beating the Ducks one way or the other. Oh, there it is. Geno Smith, 22 completions. We hit the over on JSN and Brooks, and now we cash that. The lock shop is absolutely red hot. If you haven't checked out the lock shop yet, every day at 11, if you would have bet $10 on all of our parlays, on each parlay throughout the month of November, you'd be up over $200. So it was a really nice month. And now we just hit another one. So that's good. That makes up for the under in this bloody game hitting, which was a major buzzkill. We're going to get to your Damon Bunting player of the game, but head coach Chris Knoblauch, after the game, here's what he had to say.
Your group's perseverance through that game tonight.
Oh, yeah, I was very happy with our guys. There could have obviously been frustration. I thought we played pretty well for the first 40 minutes. Could have had some goals. Obviously their goalie played really well. A few missed chances, just missing wide. And the guys didn't deviate from the game plan and stuck with it. And, we got a little bit of a break on the first goal, but I think it was deserved considering how many opportunities we had.
How much is Darnell's goal an example of getting pucks on net is just a great thing?
Well, yeah, you never know what can happen. Whether that's going straight in, more often that's more of a rebound. But, it was nice for him to get rewarded because I thought Darnell had a really solid game tonight.
It seemed like your team was determined, every time maybe they could have put their head down and felt a little bit like, oh, why isn't this happening for us? They just kept pushing forward harder. What was your assessment of it?
Absolutely, where, the work ethic would have stayed, but often guys deviate from the plan. It's not working and just take shortcuts on trying to create some more offense. But, I didn't see that tonight. I saw us sticking with the game plan and working hard. They defend really well and make it tough getting to the net. But, I'm certainly happy with the way the guys played today.
Has to be. 4 games. They've won all 4 of them, which I think is maybe the best thing about this. They've won all 4 of them in a different fashion. We'll see where the break ends up hurting or helping them, but they've won 4 in a row, and they've got their next 6 games at home. If you take 3 of those 6, you got 7 of 10. If you can take 4 of them, you got a stretch where you've won 8 of 10, and that gets you back into the mix there. So that's it's big. This was a big one tonight. I know you two, Trev, has been absolutely fired up. Trev, you're in with us tomorrow morning too, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's
gonna be
nice
great
too. I know you're going to be fired up. We got a nice little
I can't wait.
Friday show lined up for you tomorrow morning for sure. There'll certainly be some celebrating due to the win tonight and the success of the 6 o'clocker lager, which is absolutely crushing it. Hopefully get your hands on this stuff immediately because it's going to sell out. Yeah, it's going to sell out for sure. All right, Trav, let's get into your Damon Bunting player of the game for Remax Elite. He was at our beer launch actually last night. We're going to have some stuff coming up during the holidays with Damon Bunting as well, so watch for that chance to win something here in the month of December, which starts tomorrow. You can hop on his website, buying or selling. He's your guy, DamonBunting.com. And, of course, you can find him on Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate as well. Trev, I'm actually very curious to see where you go with the player of the game tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I'm pumped tonight. This was great, huge win, and I'm kind of mad at myself because I usually don't do this. I should have gave the player of the game last game to Matthias Janmark as opposed to Darnell Nurse because I don't like to double up. But no, I mean Nurse was huge again tonight. This is just he's been playing unreal. 1 goal tonight. Yes, I called it, but that's not why. But yeah, man, his shooting percentage, 1 shot on net, 1 goal, 100% shooting percentage. That's great. You love to see it. He was a +2. He saved a goal on the penalty kill as well. It was just a wide open net. He got his stick right in there and took away a goal. He's looked lights out, Dusty, and if this is the Nurse that we can get as as Oilers fans or whatever, it's huge. It's a game changer, and nice what I did there, game changer. So yeah, this yeah. So it's unreal. I'm super happy for Nurse. His confidence is at all-time high. He's playing just so good. His skating's unreal. He's getting sticks in lanes. But it's mainly on the penalty kill. I've really noticed it, Dusty. He's just a dominant force out there, and he's been inconsistent in previous years. The city knows about it. Everybody knows about it. But as of late, I love seeing the Nurse love and the nasty chat. And so I'm giving it to Darnell Nurse again. But I don't usually double up, so that's not going to happen very often. But Darnell Nurse, absolutely your Damon Bunting player of the game. That'd be Darnell.
Yeah. He definitely deserved it tonight as the Edmonton Oilers end up getting the job done 3-1 in Winnipeg. The Jets have now lost 3 in a row. I'm sure we'll have an interesting discussion about that with Huss on the Lock Shop. Tomorrow, he would have been in that game tonight in that building. Once Nurse scored that goal, I think things puckered up a little bit in Winnipeg tonight because you knew that the Oilers were going to keep pushing at that point. They get goals from Leon Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse, and Ryan McLeod. And Stuart Skinner stops 25 of 26 for a .962 save percentage. And the Edmonton Oilers go into this mini break on a 4-game heater and 3 points out of a wild card spot. Bill, the teacher, who's in Calgary for a basketball tournament, says, Dusty, go home to bed. You're going to burn yourself out. Well, actually, I am at home, and my bed is just around the corner. And I will go there, though. You're right. We're going to get this done. Power through tomorrow. Busy day at Edmonton Sports Talk tomorrow, obviously. We'll have the hangout. We will have the Lock Shop, and we will have another oil stream live for you at noon. That is going to do it for us here tonight. Thank you very much to everybody for joining us on YouTube. We're working up towards 6,100 here. We hit 6,000 a couple of days ago. So give us a sub. If you come here and check out any of our content, give us a sub. We'd very much appreciate that. Everybody gets some rest. Don't stay up drinking 6 o'clock lagers all night. Conch me, right? Man, this is brilliant. This beer is absolutely delicious. I can't wait. We're going to get in on this tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll have Sobeys and Safeway Liquor Beer of the Week, and it will be the 6 o'clocker lager, which is really going to hit home. That's going to be good. I know Scott from Sobeys is going to be driving all over the city to try to get stock to whatever locations have it. But we're going to drink them out of it relatively quickly. So that's so I went in to the Sobeys close to my house. I was up on 87th today, and I'm looking for the 6 o'clocker lager. And sure enough, I bump into a Nasty Club member there getting some as well. He's like, hey, Dusty, it's right here. I was like, oh, sweet. But there was only like 11 4-packs left. So I was going to get a flat, but I felt bad. So I only took 2. 2 4-packs, and I'm hoping Scott brings in a few for the boys tomorrow. So that should be pretty good as well. But join us for that. Craig Button's going to slide in. MJ's traveling tomorrow, so Craig Button will be on the Nielson show tomorrow. And Ian Herbers, head coach of the University of Alberta Golden Bears, will join us as the Bears, a couple big games this weekend. We'll do that for United Sport and Cycle as well. So that is going to do it for the Oil Stream pre- and post-game show. It was fun riding along here. Tommy Gazzola will be back after the break when they get fired up against Carolina. It'll be Tommy for pregame, Tommy for postgame, pretty much the rest of the season, unless there's a different hunting show in which they want to spray him with piss and put him on television. So we'll see how that works out. For YouTube Trev, up in the Edmonton Sports Talk studios, I am Dustin Nielson, saying cheers to everybody for supporting Edmonton Sports Talk. Congratulations to the Oilers. They've won 4 in a row. Impressive victory tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning on Edmonton Sports Talk.